Okay, today is the first part of 1.1F. I think we're going to have to split it into three parts. We're going to be focusing on the third concept here, write and simplify linear expressions and equations that model real world problems. So let's look at number one. It says use the story below about Chloe and her friends to answer the questions that follow. So here's the story. Chloe and her friends are going on a picnic. A sandwich is 6 times the cost of a cookie. A bag of chips is 1.5 times the cost of a cookie. And a soda is twice the cost of a cookie. So part A, right underneath that story, asks you to write expressions for the cost of each item if the cost of a cookie is X. So they give us X. Everything is in relations to the cost of a cookie. So let's look at the pertinent information in our word problem. So first let's find the cost of a sandwich. It says right here, the cost of a sandwich is 6 times the cost of a cookie. So we know cookies X. So we are going to make the cost of a sandwich 6X. Let's go back to the words. Let's look for a bag of chips. So the bag of chips is 1.5 times the cost of a cookie. We know the cookie is X. So 1.5X or 1.5X. Either way is fine. So now let's go back to the story and look for the cost of a soda. A soda is twice the cost of a cookie. So 2 times the cookie, which is X. 2X. Okay, so fill all those in. Now let's go to part B. So let me fill these in for you. So B says, Chloe and her friends buy 2 sandwiches, 3 bags of chips, 4 cookies, and 2 sodas. They spend a total of $12.25. Use this information and the expressions you wrote above to write an equation representing the situation. So here sandwiches are 6X. So we have 2 of the sandwiches, which are 6X. And we're going to add 3 bags of chips, which are 1.5X. Then we're going to add 4 cookies, which are 4X, most important part, and 2 sodas, which is 2, and the sodas are 2X. And they all spend $12.25. Part C now says we're going to solve that equation to find the cost of each item. So if we know the cost of a cookie, which is X, we can plug in that value and find the rest of them. So let's rewrite this and simplify it so we can solve. So 2 times 6X is 12X. 3 times 1/2X is 4.5X. Then we have our 4X. And then we have 2 times 2X, which is 4X. If we combine all of these, we have 12 plus 8 is 20. So we have 24.5X equals $12.25. I'm going to go up here. Since we're talking about money, I'm going to add a 0 there. So when I divide each side by 24.50, we get the cost of a cookie, which is 50 cents. So let's fill that in. Each cookie is 50 cents. So if we go back up here and we find the cost of a sandwich, which would be 50 cents times 6, so the sandwich will be $3. A bag of chips, 50 cents times 1.5 will be 75 cents for a bag of chips. And then soda is $1 because it's 2 times 50 cents. So if we solve that equation, we can find the price of all of those things. All right, next one. Uncle Hank loves riddles. Uncle Hank tells his nephews, I have twice as many dimes as quarters. I have 12 more nickels than quarters, and I have $4.60 total. Whoever can solve my riddle can get my coins. So first let's set up a chart. So I'm going to make quarters Q. And then I have dimes, and then he has some nickels. So how many dimes did he say? Say he had twice as many dimes as quarters. So dimes is 2Q, and I have, 12 more nickels than quarters. So nickels is Q and 12 more. So the difference between this and the word problem before is those coins all have different values, and you have to take those values into consideration. So right here, this is the quarters. So we know quarters are worth 25 cents, so we have to take 25 cents times the number of quarters. So our next section here is nickel or dimes, because he has twice as many dimes as quarters, and we know the value of a dime is 10 cents. So this piece of the expression is dimes, and this last part, 5 cents, is what nickels are worth, and we have 12 more of those than quarters. So this whole thing represents nickels. So how many of each type of coin does he have? Well, if we find the quarters, then we can figure out everything else. So let's write this expression out and find the value of Q. Okay, so I have a quarter, 25 cents times Q, and then a tenth times 2Q is 2/10 Q, and then we're going to distribute there. 5/10 Q and then 5/10 times 12 is 6/10 equals 460. So if you add all your Q's together, you get 5/10 Q plus 6/10 or 60 cents equals $4.60. So I'm going to subtract 60 cents from $4.60, and I get 5/10 Q equals $4. I'm going to go up here. 50 cents Q equals $4. And when I divide by 50 cents, I have 8. And in the context of our problem, that means I have 8 quarters. If I have twice as many dimes, I have 2 times 8, or 16 dimes. And if I have 12 more than 8 nickels, I have 20 nickels. There you go. All right, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 says, use the story below about Farmer Ted and his animals to answer the question. So Farmer Ted is weighing his animals. He knows that a pig weighs approximately 1/4 as much as a cow. He also knows that a Clydesdale horse weighs about twice what a cow weighs. Those are big horses. A sheep weighs approximately 100 pounds less than a pig. So let's go to the horse. Oh no, let's do the pig. Let's go in order. The pig is 1/4 as much as the cow. So the pig's way down on the bottom of the list there. So he's 1/4 what the cow weighs. The Clydesdale, which is a type of horse, Clydesdale horse weighs twice what a cow weighs. Like I said, that's a big horse. So that's 2 times what the cow weighs. And the sheep is interesting 100 pounds less than the pig, not the cow. We have to be careful. So a pig is 1/4 C. And then if you subtract 100, you get to the weight of a sheep. Okay, part A says write the expression that matches the weight of each of the animals. So we already did that. We filled that in. So let's go to part B. Let me fill all of this in so we don't lose track of this. So the sheep is 1/4 C minus 100, and the pig is just 1/4 C. All right, so let's look at part B. It says write an expression for the weight of 1 cow, 1 horse, 1 sheep, and 1 pig. So 1 cow is C. 1 horse is 2C, so we're going to add 2C to that. And 1 sheep, we're going to add 1/4 C minus 100 to that. And then 1 pig is 1/4 C. Okay, part C says if he puts 3 cows, so 3 times the weight of a cow, and he adds to that 2 horses, the horses are 2C, 4 sheep. So we're going to have to put this in parentheses because there are 2 terms in that expression. And just 1 pig. On a scale, that's a scale used for weighing semi-trucks, so that's a big scale. And the scale reads 7,850 pounds. Approximately how much does each animal weigh? All right, let's simplify this and see if we can solve for C. And if we solve for C, we can figure out what the rest of the animals weigh too. So I have 3C plus 2 times 2C, which is 4C, plus 4 times 1/4 C. 1/4 times 4 is just 1. So I have C. And then 4 times negative, I'm going to distribute in there. 4 times negative 100 is negative 400. And then we're going to add the pig, the 1/4 C. And they total 7,850. If I add up all the C's, I have 7, 8, 8 1/4, which is 8.25 C, minus 400 equals 7,850. If I add 400 to each side, I get 8 1/4 C equals 8,250. I'm out of space. I'm going to go way up here at the tippy top. 8 1/4 equals 8,250. Oh, this is C. Forgot to bring my C. So I'm going to divide by 8 1/4. And my cow is 1,000 pounds. The cow weighs 1,000 pounds. So if the horse is twice that, 2 times 1,000 is 2,000 pounds for the horse. Let's go down to the pig. So the pig is 1/4 of the cow. So if you divide 1,000 by 4, the pig is 250 pounds. And to get the sheep, you subtract 100 from 250, which is 150 pounds. So we got all the weights of the animals if we knew the cow. Okay, that's it for this part.